what's happening, everyone? It is I, the man, the myth, the mustache, Tim here, and have I got a brand new video for you. It's... no. Alright, here we go again. Sound editor, cue the sad music. Welcome to part 3 of What If Iida Dies. Oh, this is gonna be depressing. Anyway, sit back and enjoy. Sorry for the downer, folks. The quiet that settled over the Hosu Alley was anything but calm or pleasant. The two UA students that survived the encounter with Stain weren't sure what to do. Midoriya was a complete emotional wreck. Tears were streaming from his eyes, and his voice was growing hoarse from his sobs. Todoroki wasn't sure how he should respond emotionally to the situation. One of his peers had just died in front of him. He wanted to cry, to scream, to reduce Stain's still living body to ash and ember. But he also wanted to retreat inward and just ignore the world for a while. Native spoke up. "We need to get Stain to the authorities, and your friend to a hospital." Todoroki stood as he nodded silently. Midoriya's sobbing quieted, and he seemed to calm down, even just slightly, as he wiped the tears that stained his face. Midoriya started to pick up his friend's body. This was a bit of a challenge, considering his own injuries and the weight of the body and armor. Native was about to stop the boy from straining himself, but Todoroki got in the pro's way. He could tell by the son of Endeavor's gaze that he should leave the mourning boy be. The scarred teen turned to his friend to help him with the fallen class rep. Native led the way out of the back street after the boys were able to pick up Iida. Despite the short distance away from the main road, it felt like they were walking forever. "Iida's still warm," the half-and-half hero's voice cracked as the optimistic statement fell from his mouth. "Do you think there's a chance he can be—" "I don't know." It was rare to see Midoriya in such a state. Usually the boy would be smiling, or at the very least have some form of neutral yet determined expression. Now the boy wouldn't even look at his friend. All Todoroki saw was sorrow and pain. The survivors of the hero killer's attack met up with the pro heroes that just arrived. At first, the pro heroes were glad to see that Stain was apprehended, but immediately became crestfallen when they saw the dead UA student. Native was the one to inform the others of the events that transpired. He could tell that the two young heroes in training were not in the right headspace to report anything at the moment. Amongst the sounds of conversation, Todoroki thought he could hear something else not too far away. It sounded like the wind, but there was something more to it. His heterochromatic eyes turned to look down the road. He saw nothing as the sound drew closer, until he looked skyward. A fearful expression came across his face. "Midoriya, move!" Midoriya was so caught up in his own head that he was taken completely off guard by Todoroki's sudden and demanding words. The unearthly sound of a Nomu cry rang out through the area. The winged beast latched onto the first person it could easily get its claws on. The force of the artificially made creature swooping in caused Midoriya and Todoroki to be shoved to the ground. Iida was no longer with them. He was being carried away in the claws of the creature. "Iida!" The distraught young man picked himself up from the ground and began running after the creature. "Give him back!" "Get back, Midoriya! Don't be reckless!" But Todoroki's advice was ignored. Midoriya just kept running after the Nomu, not even thinking of donning full cowling. All he had was tunnel vision, and he was focused on getting Iida back. After regaining consciousness and using the blade that was hidden in his mouth, the hero killer broke free from his restraints and rushed at the Nomu. He leapt for the creature, using Midoriya as a springboard, and attacked. The blade struck through the creature's exposed brain, and it began to fall. Stain rode the murdered creature to the ground as he grabbed the dead boy and held on to him. Everyone who witnessed the act was stunned in fear. No one was sure what they should do. Not even Midoriya, who stood not even 5 feet away from where the creature landed, could find it in him to move. He could only watch what the hero killer was doing with Iida's body. "It's a shame you found the spark of true heroism in your final moments. You would have been amazing." Stain carefully laid Iida on the pavement. It didn't look like the boy had sustained any more damage from that creature or the fall, which Stain was grateful for. He brushed some of the blue hair from Ingenium's face. The boy looked peaceful, as though he were asleep. A few of the heroes weren't sure what to do. "Shit! The hero killer's loose. Do we go after him?" "Don't get ahead of yourself. That green kid is right there with him. One wrong move and he could get killed." Stain began to stand, slowly and seemingly painfully, as he turned to face the pro heroes that had still yet to take action. Midoriya noticed that Stain didn't make a single movement for the blades that were still impaled in Iida. What could this mass murderer be planning if he wasn't going for one of his weapons? You worthless, fake heroes. How can anyone expect you to protect an entire city when none of you were capable of saving this boy? Everyone remained still, unsure of what the hero killer would do. The killer took a single step forward, and the atmosphere of the block seemed to turn red. The amount of malice and hatred radiating from Stain caused Midoriya and a few others to stumble backward. The killer took another step forward, causing fear in everyone to spike. Despite not using his quirk at the moment, Stain had everyone paralyzed. The true essence of a hero has lost all meaning. Fake heroes have been allowed to run wild in this society, not to mention the criminals that wave their power around. Hero is a title that should only be given to those that have accomplished great things, not those chasing after glory or money. Stain broke eye contact with the fearful pros to glance at the body behind him. Take this hero behind me, for example. Although he was slow to learn what being a hero meant, he died with greater heroic potential than any of you so-called pros. The murderous vigilante took another step forward as he locked his gaze back on the heroes. No one had yet found the courage to move. Until the world realizes the crucial mistake it's made, I will continue to appear. The hero killer was right in front of Midoriya. The green-haired boy couldn't stop himself from shaking. Stain moved his glare to the boy in front of him. Midoriya's breath hitched, and he felt as though his heart skipped a beat. Stain's eyes were rolled in the back of his head. I will never die! I will only allow a true hero to kill me! A true hero, like All Might! The intensity of the hero killer's conviction crashed into all who were present. Then, Stain fell quiet, and did not move. Although he had remained standing and his eyes were opened, he had completely blacked out. The day that followed Hosu was solemn. The events that happened that night were all over the news. The Iida family was heartbroken to see another one of their sons had met a terrible fate, and a majority of UA was devastated, mainly 1A. It was hard for all of them to focus on the rest of their internships. Upon returning to school, Class 1A sat quietly in their seats. There was no conversation, no jokes. Not even a smile. Every one of them was wearing black ties instead of the usual red. Iida's desk was covered in white chrysanthemums as a sign of grief. Aizawa stepped into the room, gaining the silent attention of his students. The dark circles under his eyes had grown more defined. He had been dealing with the backlash of his student's death for the past few days, and the insomniac couldn't afford the luxury of sleep. Welcome back. I know the events of this past week have been rough on many of you, but this is something heroes go through. You can't always save everyone, even when you give everything you've got. The pro hero looked to each of his students, pausing for a moment on Todoroki, Midoriya, and the empty desk. Seeing the empty desk caused Aizawa to remember something. Someone. He and Present Mike knew how it felt to lose a classmate. The loud blonde arrived at Aizawa's place a sobbing mess the moment he heard the news. The two men just sat in silence with each other on Aizawa's couch. It's like Shirakumo all over again, huh? Present Mike had asked his friend. Aizawa shook himself from the memory before he would start crying again. He explained to his students that they will have to figure out the class rep situation eventually, but it wasn't something they'd have to discuss right away. Classes and training would also continue as usual. After a brief discussion amongst themselves, the class was okay with Yaoyorozu taking the role of class rep. She asked Midoriya if he wanted to be her vice, since he got first in the original voting, but the freckled teen turned down the offer with a dry, no thanks. Todoroki stepped up, asking if it was okay for him to take on the role. Most everyone was okay with that.
Sorry to interrupt the video, but here's a quick message from our sponsor.
Honey is a free browser add-on available on Google, Opera, Firefox, Safari. In short, if it's a browser, it has Honey. Honey automatically saves you money when you check out on sites like Amazon, Papa John's, Kohl's, wherever you shop. It's a good chance that Honey can save you money. All you have to do when you're checking out at these major sites is click that little orange button and it will scan the entire internet and find discount codes for you. It takes 2 clicks to install Honey. Now, anytime you check out, Honey will scan the entire internet and find coupon codes for you. If there's a coupon code, they will find it. And if there's not a coupon code, you can rest assured that you are getting the best price possible, and there literally is not one available on the internet. If you install Honey right now, you can save like $50 to $100 on your shopping doing nothing. There's literally no reason not to install Honey. It just takes 2 clicks. 10 million people use it, 100,000 5-star reviews. Unless you hate money, you should install Honey. The days turned to weeks, then weeks to months. Tensei was doing what he could with his physical therapy. He was tired and frustrated with the passive range of motion and strength-building exercises. He needed, to get back on his feet again, although his doctor thought otherwise. You're making good progress, Iida, but I don't think that's a good idea right now. You have to let me try. I need to get better. I have to. Please. Okay. We can give it a shot. Tensei's doctor helped the young man to the parallel bars. The former Ingenium gripped the bars as he focused on getting his legs to move. Just take it slow. There's no need to rush this. Tensei thought to himself, move. Take a step forward. Even just a small one. Just walk, please. Tensei closed his eyes and willed for his legs to move. His left hand moved further down the bar. Then his right hand did the same. In his mind, he was putting one foot in front of the other. Just walking. Something he had been doing since he was a child. The doctor caught Tensei before he could completely fall to the ground. The fallen hero pushed the doctor away, not wanting his aid. He felt defeated. He felt so much hatred. First, he lost his legs. Then his little brother. Tensei hated the man. The monster that did this to his family. He wanted Stain gone. He wanted Stain dead. Perhaps that's enough for today. Not yet. The blue-haired man picked himself up, grabbing the parallel bars until his knuckles turned white. Tensei needed to walk again. Get back into fighting shape. He wanted to get stronger. He wanted to get revenge. Tensei wanted to kill Stain. The final exams were mostly uneventful, and the summer camp was alright until the villains attacked. Thankfully, everyone stayed together and kept each other safe, preventing the League from capturing Bakugo. No one wanted to lose another classmate to the villains. Not again. As time passed, the pain and absence of Tenya Iida dwindled, but never truly faded away. Hero training and homework had been keeping the students occupied. Some took the return to normality one step at a time, and worked through their grieving process, like Todoroki. A few others, however, buried themselves into their work, and didn't allow themselves to move on, like Midoriya. Lunchtime rolled around, giving the students a much-needed break from class. Midoriya sat by himself, as he had chosen to do for the past few months. His classmates respected that he needed his space, but let him know that they were there for him. He'd brushed off their concerns. Todoroki took it upon himself to keep Midoriya company. The green-haired teen tried to tell his classmate to leave him, but Todoroki was stubborn, and Midoriya gave up on trying to shove the heterochromatic teen away. That's how those two would spend their lunches, sitting silently with each other. However, one of the 1A students was sick of watching the pity party. Baku, bro, what are you doing? Kirishima asked. Can it, dumb hair? Bakugo sat next to Midoriya, ignoring the confused state of his childhood friend. Kirishima sat next to Todoroki, greeting the half-and-half boy's confused look with a sympathetic smile. Kachan, what are you? Iida wouldn't want to see you like this. That caught everyone off guard. Bakugo never referred to his classmates by name, and there wasn't any venom or anger behind his words either. The explosive blonde almost seemed pensive. I don't know what you guys went through, and I'm not good with this sentimental bullcrap. Look, it sucks that that Iida is gone, but there isn't anything we can do to bring him back. Kirishima wanted to add to his friend's statement, but couldn't seem to think of the right words to string together. Thank you. Both of you, Todoroki said. The four classmates sat with each other, not speaking, just eating their lunch. It was nice, and somehow quiet, even within the loud space of the cafeteria. Then the peace was shattered, as Monoma of 1B began talking to them. Well, if it isn't 1A's villain magnets, I've been meaning to ask you something. If 1A is supposed to be better than 1B, how is it possible that your former class rep was killed during internships? The four boys froze as they heard Midoriya's chopsticks snap in his grip. They became fearful as the freckled teen's expression became unreadable. He deserved what he got if you ask me, going up against a trained assassin without the proper training. Midoriya stood as Monoma continued to talk. Oh boy, he must have been a complete idiot. He would have made a worthless hero anyway. A wrath-fueled punch crashed into Monoma's chest. The 1B student was thrown across the cafeteria from Midoriya's 10% smash. The blonde crashed into a wall, gasping heavily and painfully from the blow he took. Midoriya approached the concussed Monoma. The 1B student looked at his attacker with fear. You take that back, you bastard! Tenya Iida was more of a hero than you'll ever be! He grabbed Monoma by the shirt and punched him again and again. He risked everything to save our lives. He sacrificed his life to make sure Stain didn't hurt anyone ever again. Does that sound like a worthless hero to you, asshole? Midoriya kept punching Monoma over and over. The angry teen's knuckles were becoming covered in blood as tears unknowingly fell from his eyes. Kirishima and Bakugo had to intervene and pull Midoriya off of Monoma. Dude, chill out. You're going too far. That's enough, Deku. As much as he deserved that ass whooping, you'll end up killing him. Midoriya stopped fighting Kirishima's and Bakugo's grip on him as his heavy breathing began to slow down. The freckled teen took a closer look at what he did. Todoroki began to ice Monoma's broken and swollen face, while Kendo ran off to get Recovery Girl, Vlad King, and Aizawa. Monoma had 2 black eyes. His nose looked broken in 3 places, and he was missing a few teeth. There was also no way of knowing what kind of internal damage the green-haired boy caused. Midoriya felt, well, he wasn't sure how he felt at that moment. He almost killed someone without any hesitation or mercy. He thought he should be feeling horrible, but a part of him didn't regret his actions. The school nurse and the hero course teachers arrived on the scene, both shocked and appalled at the sight. Monoma was rushed off for emergency surgery. Vlad King took statements from those who witnessed the attack and the cause of it, while Aizawa escorted Midoriya to the principal's office. And that's our video. That was a really heavy ride, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, before I go, there's a little bit of housekeeping I want to do. First off, We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing pleasures. All the information you'll need is below in the description, so please feel free to check out and support the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I want to thank everyone who worked on the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. So that's it for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. And before I go, my usual statement is, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and stay awesome. I really do mean that. Be kind to yourselves. Rest when you're tired. Relax when you need a break. It's okay to take a break. Don't overwork yourself, don't overstress yourself. Take time to relax. It's okay. And if you need a little help, there's nothing wrong with that. There's never anything wrong with asking for help. And then being kind to others, you don't know what anybody's going through. They could be going through a really dark time right now. Maybe they lost a family pet, or a beloved family member, or they went through a breakup, or there's a whole bunch of bad things out there that could have happened to someone. Just be kind to them. Be kind and compassionate. That's all the world really needs sometimes. That's all anybody needs sometimes. And stay awesome, because I know you all are awesome. So this has been Tim. Mustache out.